All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, July the 19th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me. As always, it's none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Howdy, everybody. The 19th. That means I come home tomorrow.
You come home tomorrow. You're still out in Utah land, huh?
I am, well, started in Utah. Spent very little time in Utah, actually. Just back in Utah, so we have a day here. So we're close to the airport. We flew out to Salt Lake City. We're up in Yellowstone and Grand Teton, and so spent most of our
Uh,
time in Idaho and Wyoming, actually.
Idaho?
Idaho,
Yeah.
but we're also in Montana.
Gotcha. So Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, and Utah. So you pretty much covered a couple of small states.
A few.
Mm-hmm.
Got the drank in all 4 states, but breweries in 3 of them.
Gotcha.
So we can go through there. But it sounds like you sound like, I think we were discussing this before the show. Johnny sounds like he's in a box right now because he's got the microphone in front of him, but it's not really working.
See, this is what we try to avoid, Dave. When we use it as a prop, we don't want to tell anybody that it's only a prop. Okay?
But we've got to explain why you don't sound as crisp and clean as usual, and it's not because
Gotcha.
he's been drinking heavily.
No, that's coming now. That's coming now.
Well, right now.
No, what's happening is my trusty little
This isn't working with
console
him.
here, my trusty little mixing console here. It's not nice. It's not playing nice.
No.
So I have to use the internal microphone on the computer, which is fine, but that's what makes me sound like I'm in a box.
Right.
Is what it is.
This happens. That's a technical thing. We have them.
Mhm.
Almost.
Mhm.
It's either the guest, me or John. And since we won't have a guest today, it was either me or John. I'm on an URSAS setup, as you can see. I've got the old school headphones on again.
There we go.
I don't have my mic, which we never see on camera anyway.
Which you don't see on camera anyway. And
but that would have pushed me way over my limits.
Irene Wilkins says hello. Hello, Irene.
Hey, Irene.
How are you? Thank you for joining us on this lovely Tuesday evening, folks. We're not going to keep you too long tonight for a couple of reasons. Dave does have a few more things he wants to see before he does fly home tomorrow, and it is the All-Star game. So not just because I may want to watch it, but because you may want to watch it. So, and that's why I'm wearing a little that's scary tonight. So
we didn't see any baseball stadiums while we're out here. We did see where the Utes play.
Gotcha.
That stadium is massive, but then again, we've got to remember they expanded that for the Winter Olympics.
True story.
However many years ago, and we saw where the Jazz play.
That's good. That's good.
So
Irene did say she's great. How are us too? I'm fine, Irene. Thank you very much for asking.
I'm off vacation in a day and a half, 2 days, so it could be better. But I am coming home, so I do miss home.
There you go. And it is going to be, you're coming home tomorrow, and then you got Thursday and Friday, and then a weekend. So it can't be that bad.
Yeah, but I will be jet lagged.
Right, but it could be, you're going to be jet lagged the 2 days that you got to work, and then
the
weekend. So
I said it right.
Hey.
I will be jet lagged for 2 days.
For 2 days, right? Exactly.
I said it right. I'll be jet lagged 2 hours for 2 days.
Gotcha. I need a beer. I don't know about you. So
yeah, I'm pouring my beer now.
All right, so what are you having for your first beer this evening?
So we'll run through the itinerary of breweries and drinking holes that I managed to hit out here. But the last one I hit was Talisman. Mm-hmm. Talisman is here in I believe it's Ogden.
So you bought a $7.50 to drink on the show tonight. Very nice.
I got 2 $7.50 to drink on the show because I didn't want to drive. I didn't want to drive a 4-pack. Buy a 4-pack because
you want to drive a 4-pack.
And if I don't finish these, I don't finish these. But I had to pick this up. The Dagda. The Dagda is it's a Celtic mythology reference. He was kind of like he's almost like the Celtic mythos version of Zeus.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
The Dagda was like the primary of the gods.
Nice.
I was always a fan of Lugh myself. Lugh, L-U-G-H, not Lou, I believe.
Lugh, yeah, yeah.
And he had a great backstory because he showed up at where the gods live. And they said, well, what makes you God? Well, I'm very, very strong. Well, we got someone who's very, very strong. Okay, very, very fast. We got someone who's very, very fast. An excellent hunter. We got someone who's an excellent hunter. Okay, I'm great with the sword. Great swordsman. We've got the best swordsman in the world. Okay, do you have somebody that's all of that? No, come on in. So he's basically the patron saint of the jacks of all trades, I guess.
Gotcha.
Let's see how they're. Oh my God, it smells fantastic.
I'm glad you added the word fantastic on the end of that.
It does smell fantastic.
Oh
Wow.
my God, it smells. You don't have to drink the whole glass in one shot, and you will. There you go.
That's yummy.
Very nice.
That is quite damn yummy.
For my first beer, I'd like to thank Mr. Algatullo for handing me this can. In fact, he was standing next to you when he handed me the can.
That's in City Field. I'm looking like, I thought he was going to give me that can. He had offered to me earlier. I said, oh, maybe I'll drink it later. And then he hands it to John. Like, thanks, Al.
There you go. And it would be Source Brewing right over here in Colts Neck, New Jersey.
Oh, no, it was the other one he gave you that I'd wanted.
Oh, the pills?
Yeah.
Yeah, the collab with Wild East and all
that.
Yeah. I actually had that on the show last week. So
very nice.
There you go. But anyway, so cheers.
Cheers.
Shameless plug glass.
Yes, I don't have that mine with the glasses out here, the pint glasses. When you pick the beer up, it's like
that's nice. That's very nice.
You think it's like a very, very, very heavy beer, but it's the glass. It's like the glass is so thick, the pints look bigger. But it's a standard 16 in volume on the interior of the glass, but the thing looks like a 20.
Oh wow.
Very heavy glasses out here.
Well, obviously, and anybody on the show, this is a standard shaker pint. They call them here. Most bars will carry these pint glasses. 14 ounces of beer fit in this, not 16. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, theirs are out here. This is probably a 14. It's still a thick glass. This beer is very green. And maybe that's just, because of the label. Maybe it's just a power suggestion. But it's very piney. Very fresh. It's very.
It's not green in the way. It's not green in the way that it's too early. It's like green beer. Green beer.
Yeah.
It's not done being fermented yet.
It's green in flavor and mouthfeel, if it makes any sense. If you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So if anybody's had those beers where it's almost like some of the resin from the hops has leached into the beer and given it kind of that piney. It's not even resin. It's hard to explain it.
Sap.
Yeah, almost. But
sappy resin.
Actually, it's more like all the yellow stuff that comes out when you hit a pine tree. It's almost like all the pollen. It's like you got a mouthful of that, but in a very good way.
Sure.
I am killing this 22. Wow. Oh, and I'm also eating jerky. Bless you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have my trusty mute button on the board to use. So
I thought that was maybe the pollen flavor from the beer.
It was.
Probably got you and got you.
It got through. And
sneezing. No, so Matthew's with me. This is a trip. This is a call it. It's Matthew's high school graduation gift. Is really what it is.
Okay.
We're driving through. Oh, where in Idaho was it? I don't remember the name of the town now. It's out by Twin Falls. But we stop in this one gas station. We go into the convenience store. We found a thing of jerky. This was our first full day here. We still have a lot of it left because this is the bag it's in.
Nice.
This thing was full in one huge slab of jerky. It's 2 foot by 1 foot of jerky.
That's a lot of jerky.
Yeah, we made.
And of all people,
to have jerky. Yeah.
To have jerky.
You don't even to finish the joke. Everyone knows where you're going.
So,
and don't talk about my son that way.
Everybody knows I'm not. So anyway, but this farmhouse saison from Source is pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, their seasonal saisons are always pretty spot on.
Yeah. So, anyway. But all right, so let's get to it. Give us a rundown of your itinerary.
Oh, geez. So, well, I'll say one thing. Him and I, I'll say a few things. We met in He flew up from Fort Lauderdale, flew down to Newark. We met in Atlanta. That is a huge, huge airport.
Atlanta is a very, very big airport. Yes.
So we both had to leave the terminals we were in to go meet in the terminal we were flying out of. I flew into, I think, B. He flew into D, and we flew out of T. So they go, but there's no, F through S. It's like A through E and T, I think. And so we had to grab lunch real quick. So
if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta is actually, I think, the busiest airport in New Jersey, New Jersey, in the United States.
That's what they claim. They do claim that.
It's not, we went. I think I haven't actually been ever to the Atlanta airport. I have, however, been to Dallas Fort Worth, which is basically 3 cities.
It is. It is. It's old. It's out. Its usage is outgrowing its floor plan. It's so you can have a line where there's people that are like kind of merged. One's actually waiting to board a plane. The other one's waiting online for like the Panera.
Right.
Because the walkways between the food service and
they just put so much in that it's gotten too crowded.
It has.
Even though it's as big as it is, it's gotten too crowded.
I'm trying to see if my son can make more noise over there. You probably can't hear it too well over the headphones.
Oh, I heard it.
Oh, okay. So at any rate, I'm gonna need one of those bottles, by the way. Not what was the one I just drank out of? So we've been like buying drinks and then just refilling the bottles with water. Recycling. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I've got my water now.
So anyway, so you met in Atlanta. You had lunch
at a Gordon Biersch. Not recommending that.
Gordon Biersch. Isn't a chef on the Food Network?
That's Ramsey.
Okay.
He's the one with the mouth. But no, it's the beer was awful. I've got to say, be dead honest. Service was awful too, but the beer was probably worse than the service there. The food was pretty good though. Food wasn't bad. So anyway, we got here. We stopped. The first place we went was Red Iguana, which is a famous Mexican restaurant out here. And we had these things called killer nachos. There's no pictures of the killer nachos because they put it down. We dove in. I don't think we spoke to each other for the 10 minutes it took to eat them. Oh, they were so good.
Were they killer?
They were killer. It took us about 2 days to walk them off, I'll tell you that. But the cool thing about that is they sell Epic Brewing there.
Fair enough.
So I had the German Pilsner while I was there. Can't remember the name of it. They serve those in bombers. So that wasn't too bad. Sounds good. But from there, we just drove up 15 a little bit and stayed the night. But then we went out west. Don't know if I had a beer that day at all. No. Interesting. But we got to see Craters of the Moon. Craters of the Moon's really cool.
Nice.
Really cool. But it has been hot as balls out here.
It's been hot as balls here too, so you didn't really miss anything.
We've been 92 and above the whole time we've been out here, with exceptions. At night it's been dropping to like 60 though.
Okay.
And we drove through this one rainstorm outside of Arco, Idaho, the first city in the world to be powered by nuclear energy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. Arco, Idaho. You can use that in your when you do. Oh no, that's right. You're not allowed to do a trivia at breweries anymore unless you get a permit for it. So good luck with that. At any rate, as we drove through Arco, we drove through this rainstorm, and it went from 98 degrees to 62 in a matter of 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Put a sweatshirt
on? No, we were in the car. We drove through it.
So you had the air conditioning on, and 5 minutes later you had the heat on.
No, I kept the air conditioning on through the whole thing. It's
joking. These are the jokes. Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Actually, it's not. So, but we got to our Airbnb. It's a place called Sugar City, Idaho.
Yeah.
So, but from the next day, we went through West Yellowstone to get to the west entrance. And Yellowstone, unlike what you've been seeing and hearing in the news, it's not destroyed.
No.
There was massive floods up in the northwest section that took out sections of road up there. It is probably the least traveled area of Yellowstone. It is nowhere near, everything that you know about Yellowstone. It's nowhere near any of that stuff. It's nowhere. It's probably exactly the opposite end of the park from Old Faithful. And if you know anything about Yellowstone, you know it is massive. So where the flooding was is probably a good 2 to 3 hour drive from Old Faithful.
Okay.
So and I felt really bad for a lot of the business owners because
longer with the roads flooded out. So.
Yeah, well, if the roads were there. But I feel sorry for the business owners because it's been quiet for them. For us, this was great because one of the problems in Yellowstone is finding parking at the attractions. We didn't have that issue.
Nope.
Now, occasionally, yes, some parking lots overflowed a little bit, but it wasn't bad at all. It really wasn't.
Good.
So, we got to see Prismatic Spring, Old Faithful. We did a hike in the basin, in the Biscuit Basin, 3.6 miles, 7,800 feet of altitude, or 8,800 feet, something like that. Convinced my son's trying to kill me. That was brutal. But then we came down, and on our way out, we came through West Yellowstone. And the places in West Yellowstone do carry Montana craft beer. Okay. So managed to try a few out there. I'd be damned if I can remember the names of the breweries now. You think I'd be prepared and write this shit down, right?
Would be nice. I thought you might have done that.
Nice. We got to remember I kind of rushed to get back to the Airbnb. My son and I were still out geocaching. We've been doing quite a bit of that today.
Well, you could have written them down as you went to them too, so you wouldn't have had to have them.
That would mean forethought. What is wrong with you? Let me get to the. Here we go. Nope, that's Wyoming. Outlaw Brewing. That was at the Slippery Otter. Kettle House Brewing. They have some pretty good Draft Works, very nice. Ruby Valley. Kettle House might be Wyoming though, but we have gotten to some pretty good. Melvin is Wyoming because Melvin's actually in Jackson, so we got into some of the Wyoming breweries. The first one was Roadhouse Brewing in Jackson. So we spent 2 days farting around Yellowstone, and you can fart around Yellowstone, no one will notice because all the sulfuric smells from the hot springs. So, let off. You can always blame it on one of the geysers.
Now, was that because of the killer nachos you had?
Maybe. Almost everything we ate. We have not been eating all that healthy out here. I'll tell you that right now. I need to go through a detox when I get back.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I need to hit more salads. No, we went. Yeah, so the first brewery we actually hit was in Wyoming, in Jackson, Wyoming, called Roadhouse. They're a rather large operation. Really, really good food. The beer was pretty damn good. But then after that, we went to a classic, Grand Teton Brewing. Grand Teton Brewing.
Now, is it Grand? I got a question. Is it, you were out there, right? Because you heard people talk. Yeah. Is it Grand Teton or is it Grand Teton?
It's Teton. It's Teton. Okay. We just, we get lazy. We slur it to Teton, but it's Grand Teton. So went to Grand Teton Brewing. And they've been brewing since the 30s. So I was talking to someone about the beers in the area, and they said that Roadhouse is kind of like, they're almost big beer out there now.
Really?
Yeah, well, just in the sense that, they can produce a whole lot. So it'd be like, Sam Adams on the East Coast.
Fair enough.
Right. But I don't think they're really even that big of distribution or capacity.
How big did you find out how big their fermenters?
No, because the place itself is so big. The restaurant is so big. You're talking to some like 17-year-old who's got, or 18-year-old who's got his job for the summer.
Fair enough. So maybe not Sam Adams, but maybe like along the lines of like a Trogs or a Jack's Abbey with,
yeah, maybe
100 plus barrel fermenters, or even Brooklyn at that point.
Yeah, maybe Trogs might be the better comparison, I think.
So craft still, Not as big as Sam Adams, but
sizable.
sizable. Right.
Then Grand Teton, we kind of agreed that they're kind of like the grandfather brewery, the one who's been brewing forever. They're doing craft. Now what they're doing has become craft beer, even though they've been doing the same beer for like 90 years.
Right.
So, and this discussion was held actually here.
In your shirt?
In my shirt. Citizen 33 Brewing. I got the shirt because I love the place. They are in Driggs, Idaho. Driggs, Idaho is this little bastion of what's the word I'm looking for? The opposite of conservatism. Progressive. That's not exactly I guess kind of is almost the opposite, but not quite.
Very, very progressive.
Yes, it's a bastion of progressiveness amongst the potato fields. Potatoes and hay. So I think in their crop rotation, when they're not putting potatoes in, they're growing hay, because it gets to a point. So that saying, like 8-year-old me sees a cow, 50-year-old me sees a cow, It doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get really tired of seeing cows out here. Yeah. There's a lot of cows,
and there's a lot of potatoes and hay in Idaho too.
Yeah, and the thing with the cows is not only do you see like fields full of cows, you'd be driving through a neighborhood and just like a random cow in some random backyard.
Oh, people have their own cows.
They have their own cows.
Sure, absolutely.
There's cows everywhere out here.
Yeah.
A lot of horses too. A lot of horses, a lot of cows. Yes, we did see the fluffy cows, bison.
The fluffy cows.
The fluffy cows. Yeah, I saw. They've got signs.
Comfy cows.
No, not comfy. They're not going to be comfy. You don't want to get too close to them.
Well, no. I mean, if they were docile, they'd be the comfy cows.
But there's things. I saw a tea towel that said, "Please don't pet the fluffy cow."
I know we go there. Move on.
Yeah, it's awesome. But that actually was probably.
By the way, if you see that again for some reason before you leave tomorrow, get me.
No, that was up in West Yellowstone in Montana. I'm quite a ways away from there, but it was.
What an innuendo! I swear.
Yeah, it's a good one. Please don't pet the fluffy cows. But that was actually in a breakfast spot that we stopped at. It had probably the best breakfast burrito I've ever had.
Nice.
That was fantastic. It's the best breakfast we've had since we've been down here.
Amazing.
Out here.
I think about this though. I mean, for Mexican breakfast is just amazing. Like you said, a Mexican burrito, right? Matt and I, when we were at CBC,
breakfast burrito.
Burrito, yeah. Well, no, of course, it's not. But still, when Matt and I were at CBC out in Minnesota, I had a couple times. I had chilaquiles, and that's Minnesota too. I'm not eating that down in like Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm eating it in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were amazing chilaquiles.
Is that Mexican or Colombian?
No, it's Mexican, isn't it? Pretty sure it's Mexican. So. Pretty sure it's Mexican. Yeah. Pretty sure. I mean,
the Colombians. Was it the Colombians? There's one. There's a comedian who's joking. Oh no, I think he's Filipino. So the Filipino breakfast is just whatever you had last night with an egg cracked over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, you know what? Filipino breakfast like that. Don't mistake.
Oh no.
You get a good pancit and you crack a couple eggs over it the next morning for breakfast.
I have no issues with that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
None whatsoever. But yeah, so okay, we went sideways here. Where the hell were we?
I'm sure we were talking about beer.
We're talking about Citizen 33.
All right.
So they're in Driggs, this bastion of progressivism, in the midst of the potato fields.
And hey.
We stopped at a coffee shop one day called Rise. The population of Driggs, the gay population of Driggs probably exceeds the gay population of the rest of the state, more than likely. Okay. Which is, so I really enjoyed being in Driggs, and especially Citizen 33.
I'm not going there. Anyway, okay.
Well, because they're open-minded people there.
No. Absolutely. But the fact that you said what you said, and you're at a coffee shop called Rise.
Well, it gets you up in the morning. Who's in that coffee? Anyway, but so we went there.
I'll have the Cialis latte, please.
So we went there. We went to Citizen 33. The beer is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the head brewer, co-owner of the place, started an Abita, and it took me a little while to understand that they had said Abita because to me it started with a vowel, ended with a vowel. So I'm thinking, and in this area he started Uinta. That's what my brain heard.
Mhm.
That's what my ears heard actually, and then the brain was finally like, "That's not what she said." Or maybe the brain heard Uinta, and the ears reminded the brain, "You heard it wrong."
There was a conversation between your
Yeah.
brain and your ears.
Oh yeah, until they finally. And so when our waiter came back, Bobby, is like, "You said Abita, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "In Louisiana." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "That'll explain a lot of the food options." It's,
There you go. I mean, were you
um,
eating crawdads or yeah.
no, 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 no. It's not straight up Cajun, but there's, for Idaho, you wouldn't expect as much spice to
Okay.
some of the things they did. Um, you would not expect to get collards
No,
in Idaho.
and I no, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. No.
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 So Matthew got some ribs, huckleberry barbecue ribs. Now, huckleberry is everywhere up here. So
Wow.
I've had huckleberry beer. We've had huckleberry barbecue sauce. We've had huckleberry lavender ice cream.
Huckleberry lavender ice cream.
So good.
Now,
Huckleberry.
were there any hounds up there?
Saw no hounds.
No, no
Saw
Huckleberry
no
hounds.
hounds. There was a dog with a holster with a little burro chasing him around. Huh. At any rate,
Anyway,
um, there was only people John's my age are going, "Hey, I know what he's talking about." Everyone's like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?
thanks, so stage
What is
right.
what the hell is in that jerky?"
Right.
Um, and then
That's just
they
because
had
of jerky. It has nothing to do with the jerky.
uh, I did get a dark chocolate bar with huckleberry in it. It sounds like a
Interesting.
good idea, right?
Not so much.
T- And I let Matthew taste it, and he couldn't stop laughing because it was just too damn accurate. This chocolate bar tasted the way your old cakes smell.
Really?
Spot on. It's like I can't
Oh,
finish
wait.
this.
The way urinal cakes smell new or after
Yeah,
they've
new.
been marinated for a while?
No, definitely
All
new.
right. I mean,
Definitely new.
not that that's a good thing, but at
No,
least it wasn't
neither
the
is good.
latter.
Neither is good.
Yeah,
I still couldn't like. I took like 2 squares and like, I'm tossing this now.
yeah, yeah.
Huckleberry and everything. But no, the way that these guys cook up in Sizzin 33, really, really good. The food was fantastic. So much so, as a brewery, and Matthew's like, "We're coming back here tomorrow, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're coming back here tomorrow." We're going to try to get Sizzin 33 on the show, but they do have an event tonight. They're apparently doing Shakespeare in the Park, so
Fair enough.
otherwise
Um,
they.
I do want to make mention of this, though. You did tell me this, well, a couple of days ago when you were at Citizen 33, that the owner that started Citizen 33 used to work for Abita.
This is a joke John made, and it was
What's
funny,
that?
interesting because we just saw the arena.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not the first person to leave Louisiana and move to Utah. All right. So the
No,
Jazz are well ahead of him.
well ahead of him. So I did ask our server after you brought that up. He's like, "No, he's not into basketball."
That's a shame because that would have
and,
been actually that would have been a good.
and our server was from Louisiana as well.
Wow. Was he
Yeah.
into
So
basketball?
nope,
No,
nope, couldn't care less about
not
basketball.
a big Carmelo fan. No,
Nope.
no.
Stockton.
Well, stop, of course. Yeah. I mean, the mailman, though. I mean, John Stockton, of course, but
Yep.
the mailman.
But is the mailman is good without Stockton?
Is Stockton as good without the mailman?
Stockton was the one feeding the ball. You just need someone who can catch it.
Mm-hmm. They were.
Yes,
They worked well
symbiotic.
together. Yes.
So no, that was Citizen 33 as far as everything is involved. May have been my favorite eating drinking establishment this whole trip.
Yes. And I
So
can
those
tell.
were, and it was, so we did that the first day in Grand Teton, and then the second
What?
day.
It's funny. I got to say this. Hold that thought really quick. I just want to put it out there that growing up, anytime I heard about the Grand Tetons, I said Teton.
Yeah.
Teton. Until, and I got to say this, until I mean, it was the late 80s, all right, until I started watching the Weather Channel. And whenever they referred to the Grand Tetons as the Grand Tetons, because that was the first, I mean, what do I know? I mean, I didn't learn about the Grand Tetons. I mean, maybe they said maybe a teacher, if they ever did bring up the Grand Tetons, geography-wise, at some point in high school. And I didn't pay attention to it. But I always, anytime I saw it, I always said Teton. I always said Teton,
Well,
Grand Teton, whatever.
no one else in the country says the largest capital in New Jersey correctly. They think it's 2 syllables.
Newark, yeah.
Newark. No,
Newark.
that's in Delaware.
Newark is in Delaware.
Newark.
Or if you're from there, Newark.
Newark.
N-O-R-K.
It's one syllable. Newark.
Newark.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, so Weather Channel, literally 1987, 1988, Weather Channel, Grand Teton. I'm like, oh, Teton. Okay.
It's Teton.
Anyway,
but that is correct. But we so we went through the Grand Tetons, the park. We did some kayaking on Lake Jenny. Thanks to that movie, I can't say Jenny correctly
well, that's
anymore.
Jenny.
But the next day we went out there and we did horseback riding. My son's first time on a horse. He absolutely loved it. Handles his horse very, very well for a first timer. I got to say that the horse kept trying to graze.
There you go, Matthew. Very good. All right.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, no, you're not grazing. They told me I'm not allowed to let you graze, so I'm yanking your head up and we're moving." So my horse was stubborn as hell, trying to get him to do what he didn't want to do. Well,
that's why they gave you that horse.
Yeah, no, they gave me that one because I was the fattest one and he was the biggest horse. So, because there was a family of 5. A mother, daughter, Matthew, and I. So there was 9 of us. So I was the biggest one. So I got the biggest horse. I got to give props to the dad of the family of 5, because his horse Commander decided he wanted to go roll around in the grass while he was still on him.
Well, it was on him, right?
So the people that were leading the excursions just started yelling, get off, but he was already had his foot out of the saddle on the side that the horse was going down on, and had already jumped clear of the horse. So he did a damn good job of not getting his leg broken.
Sure.
I'm gonna say Commander was the second biggest horse.
Yours was the biggest horse.
Yeah, Comanche, he was a big boy. So it was after that we went, where we go after that? Oh, we ate lunch at the ranch, which was great because they had Wyoming craft beer.
Sure.
I think it was all Melvin, but it was good beer.
Melvin's good. I've had Melvin. Melvin's good. Melvin's good beer.
Oh, their brown ale is really good.
Yeah, it is.
And it was exactly what I needed after, because trail riding can be very, very dusty. So you really, and you know how I can put down my first beer. Imagine the first beer after a dusty trail ride. That poor thing never stood a chance.
Yeah.
And that was, stealing a line from Tom, that went down quicker than a Tijuana hooker. That thing was.
I just picture just like somebody slamming back. It wasn't Rocky. It was something else. It might have been in one of the. I forget what it was, but like a dozen eggs in a glass, just boom down, like back, like faster than. You ever watch the Man Show?
Yeah, ziggy hoy hoy.
Faster than Fox down to beer, just boom, just throw it back.
Cool. Nice. Ick, but nice.
Yeah.
But no, that was a lot of fun. But we went back to dinner at Citizen 33 after that. We got back into Jackson, got some smoothies.
Some Jackson smoothies.
So Jackson, most people here know it as Jackson Hole. It used to be called Jackson's Hole, but they changed that because, I guess, obvious reasons. Jackson, Wyoming. It's a massive tourist trap.
Oh, sure.
It's cool. The setting is cool.
Did you go by the ski area?
No, but you can see, the scars on the mountain made from the ski trails.
Sure. Yeah.
You can see the trails.
I never skied Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I never did. Anytime I went up by Colorado, I always wanted to get up to Wyoming, and I never did.
What's the whole thing? Jackson Hole is the ski resort.
Right.
Jackson is the town. So the whole area, I think that was Jackson Hole. But anyway, they call it Jackson, Wyoming. We did, before horseback riding, we had a really good breakfast there at a place called the Bunnery. Get thee to a bunnery, I guess. I don't know.
Get thee to a bunnery. You know what?
There we go.
I have a hole over here, by the way.
Is it John's hole?
Well, technically, it's Jack's son's hole.
Ah, it is Jackson's hole. Jackson's hole.
Yeah.
Very cute.
I
think we just might have had our first Shakespeare reference on the show.
I think so. I need my second beer. What about you?
Yep, I got to walk to the fridge to get my second beer and that's all the way over there. I'll be right back.
It's all the way over what? 10 feet away. Where's Matthew?
Yep.
He can't get the beer for you.
I think he's taking a nap. Actually.
Is he really?
I don't know. Hold on. Can I hear?
All right, go.
I'm trying to see here if I can hear TikTokers or not.
Or no snoring or something.
Yeah, he might be taking a nap. The boy does sleep. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
18-year-old boy. They like to sleep.
They tend to nap occasionally. Yeah.
Yes.
Go get your beer. I'll keep the crowd interested. There you go.
Yeah, keep everyone entertained.
So, well, we're gonna wrap this up soon, everybody. We're gonna talk a little bit more about what he did. We're gonna drink our second beers. I have a very small 8%, 7.9 anyway, IPA to enjoy. But the All-Star game started about 14 minutes ago, so we definitely want to, get you back to that if you are indeed watching this live. However, if you're listening to this afterwards, the rebroadcast or any of the audio channels, then you probably want us to continue because this is such a scintillating podcast tonight. You're definitely going to want this to continue. So. All right, what beer did you get?
It's funny because I noticed they have batch numbers on their label. So the Dagda was a batch 23. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get the laptop out of the way of the spillage. I will be right back again. Hold on.
All right. See, he's going to go away again. See, because what Dave just did was a cardinal mistake. It's actually what we consider alcohol abuse. He spilt something. He spilled beer on the table. And now that's beer that he cannot, or anybody else for that matter, cannot drink. And now he's got to clean it up with paper towels.
Okay, so now we're on an angle because I've had to move the laptop away. And it's funny because I'm thinking I should really put the laptop up on something in case beer spills.
Mm-hmm.
So I had forethought, just didn't execute it.
Well, that was very good, but I did just let everybody know that you did commit alcohol abuse.
Yes. And I'm sorry. I don't know if...
Don't say you're sorry to me. Say you're sorry to the beer.
I'm sorry. I'm sure no one heard that because I whispered it in the ear.
Oh, no, I heard you. You said you're sorry.
At any rate, so...
I did that and take it back. So what beer were you going to drink? No, I'm kidding.
No. That was the leftover of the Dagda. Because that was actually... Because I haven't actually opened the bottle yet. Of the second beer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just get this all kind of dried up here a little bit. And
sure.
This is great. This is good evidence for the people that own the Airbnb in case there's any damage to the table from this.
This is great.
Okay. Let me just make sure the bottom of the laptop is dry. Okay, so we got that. This podcast is getting even more interesting, isn't it? Okay. I think we're back.
And even closer than we were before.
No, I'm going to push this back a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Alrighty. Okay. So what was your second beer?
My second beer, I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to open it now. It's Other Half, and I have to thank. I would like to thank. I just figured I'd go with two beers that were presented to me, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
I would like to thank Mr. Gene Lynch for
Gene Lynch.
Gene Lynch for this.
Gene Lynch left the house?
You would think that I would have gotten this particular beer from James Harris.
Because it's another half, yeah.
Because I got it from Gene Lynch. Now, he may very well have gotten it from James Harris.
He more than likely did get it from Jim.
But either way, it's Other Half cheddar broccoli, double dry hop Imperial India Pale Ale, 7.9%.
They got the most interesting names.
There you go, right there.
Actually, he didn't get it from James. James talked him into, I think, ordering it because he didn't get it delivered.
He may have. There's Other Half in New Jersey now, so you can actually get Other Half in a store now in New Jersey. So, but I'm actually still talking into the mic as if the mic is actually working.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
And that's not. And I'm doing this right now, or I was for a minute ago, doing this not because I was trying to fool everybody, just because I actually
It's
forgot that
habit.
I wasn't talking into the mic.
It's habit. It's good.
So, got a little head going on there.
Very nice.
There you go.
It's been a long time since we've had a Liz pour on the show.
It's not quite a Liz pour. It's like
No, it's not.
we'll call it Lizish. We'll call it Lizish. So.
Look, I got.
And speaking of that, we got to take a ride up to. You got the same thing, Lizish. We got to take a ride up to Rhode Island.
Yeah, we got to get back up there.
We got
to look at what were the dates of that that invite only thing that was that Doug sent to us.
September 22nd, I believe it was.
That might be a possibility.
It might be a possibility. If it's a weekend, we could probably swing it. We can go down. Yeah.
We'll see. I wasn't able to open the attachment, but we'll get to it.
He sent it again, but the same way, and I opened the other one and you couldn't. So I'm assuming you couldn't just open it on your phone.
Yeah, probably just not on the phone. So when I get a chance, I'll check it out on the computer. Probably because I didn't have Wi-Fi, maybe, and the computer's like, hell no, I'm not doing that. My second one is also from Talisman. It's appropriate. I picked it up for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to stick with the pale ale.
Okay.
This is a wheat IPA.
So it's a white IPA.
Yes.
6-1, same thing.
Sure. It's called, and I love the name, Coming in Hop. Okay. And it's got a bomber. So Talisman is not too far from Hill Air Force Base.
All right. So there's a lot of Air Force references, so forth and so on. So.
Yeah. So we, Matthew and I had spent the middle of the day at Hill Aerospace Museum.
Nice. Very nice.
They have an SR-71, but there's the SR-71A, B, and C. It's the only existing C variety.
Okay.
The letter C, not as this thing can go into the ocean.
Not SEA, right?
Yeah. Although it looks like it might be able to, it can't. Yeah. They had two of my favorite planes on the ever produced there: a B-17 Flying Fortress, and the A-10 Thunderbolt, nice. Also known as the Warthog or the Tank Killer. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun.
Very nice. Very nice.
So we did that. So Talisman was the last brewery we went to. What I didn't mention is when we came down here yesterday, we came through Pocatello, Idaho. Beautiful. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice pour. That's my Surly glass too. So.
Oh, very nice. We came through Pocatello, Idaho. Pocatello's pretty cool place because you've got strips of it look like you could be on, Route 9 in New Jersey. Okay. Up around, Manalapan through Lakewood area.
Now, is it Manalapan or is it Manalapan?
It's Manalapan.
I'm kidding, by the way.
It's Manalapan. I grew up in that area, so to speak. But then you get into the old town, and it looks like an old Western town sitting next to the rails. Right, you still got Western Pacific going through there. There is a building that is a large building that is owned by Western Pacific Railroad.
It really looks like it's on Route 9 too.
No, that was one section of it. This section looks like the railroad came through. They started building the city just off the railroad, and the buildings are still there.
Nice.
They've just changed hands, and that area is gentrified a little bit. There's hot yoga.
There's hot yoga in every town. When you were on the Route 9 part of it, did you feel like you were sprung from cages?
No. We weren't going that fast.
You weren't chrome wheeled and fuel injected?
No.
Stepping out over the line?
At one point I did think I said whoa.
Whoa. All right. But
with a little more inflection.
I got you. So the bones weren't ripped from your back or anything like that.
No. Are you going to do every line from the song? And it's funny because you listen to all these lines, and there was a point that Born to Run was put forward to be the state anthem for New Jersey.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And everyone's like, yeah, and like, have you listened to the lyrics? Yeah. We're like, yeah, who cares? That's Jersey.
Baby, this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap.
We got to get out while we're
While
young.
we're young, right?
And
Yeah.
what song fits Jersey better than that? And Bill Maher is the one who did a routine on it, talking about this, and he did almost the exact inflection you use right there, as if you've seen the routine. He goes, and then it goes, "Whoa! Can you see Grandma at a baseball game? Whoa!"
That's funny.
But at any rate, so it was no, Pocatello, Idaho was cool. There's two breweries there off the rails, which is just off the rails by about 3 blocks.
Right.
Actually, two, not even, it's like 2 blocks. Because the back door opens a block and a half away from where the rails are,
Nice.
from this little park. So we ate there. Pretzel was really good. The tacos were really good. And the beer was actually pretty damn good, even though it gets so another lesson learned. When you get the overall rating for a brewery, ignore it. Because I think they were a lot better than they were rated. So we went around, and one thing we're doing a lot of geocaching here.
Mhm.
And so we found a few geocaches, some pretty tricky ones, and one that had the highest rating and difficulty, and we did manage to solve that and find the thing. And then we wound up going to Jim Dandy Brewing.
Okay.
Didn't spend a lot of time there because they only serve beer. There's nothing else that they really. I mean, they serve some non-alcoholic drinks, but there's really nothing for Matthew to do, so I couldn't spend too much time there.
Right.
But the beer was really good. So then we is that everything we hit on the way down? That's everything as far as breweries on the way down. So it's good. Like I said, I hit a Wyoming brewery, Idaho brewery, and now going to Talisman. That's a Utah brewery.
Right.
So not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too shabby at all. Absolutely.
Nope.
Very nice.
So now we're well, this is over. We got to go find dinner. I know Matthew wants to go back to Red Iguana, but I'd like to walk at some point again in my life. And it just eating there makes you waddle. It's just a lot of really, really good food.
Really, really good food. Right?
Yeah, really good Mexican food. But the wait's usually about an hour.
Mhm.
So
Very
we'll
nice.
see. There's so many places to eat here. Salt Lake City's pretty cool. But the area north of it that we've been in a lot, Ogden, Roy, Riverdale, and I don't know if that's where Archie went to high school or not. I don't know if it's that Riverdale.
Gotcha.
But it's that area is pretty cool. Oh, and we did yesterday for dinner. Did In-N-Out Burgers. You have to if there's one near you, you've got to stop.
Okay.
So, but the one guy that we're talking to, one of the geocaches we found. Here's the weird thing: a lot of the geocaches we found were on people's private property.
Really?
And it says right in the app that the person has said you have permission to come on your property and find this. And being from Jersey, like I said to the guy, I said, yeah, we're still trying to get past the going on someone else's property because, well, we're from Jersey and you can get shot doing that.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, well, yeah, but there's probably a lot more guns out here. I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe just a lot more registered guns out there.
Nice.
If you think about it, we
Right.
probably have just as many. Not every single one of them. Some of them probably have serial numbers sandpapered off of them. Who knows?
Who knows? This is true. Yeah.
Anyway,
so
that was a lot of fun. But he told us about a burger joint to go to called Burger Bar. This appeared on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That was pretty damn good. We went there after the Aerospace Museum.
very nice.
So one of the goals I had out here was to try to get one of the local breweries on the show today. As you can all tell, if you haven't figured it out by now, that failed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering in summer if the owners and the brewers of these breweries just hand it over to the bar staff, the tap room staff, and just disappear, because there's been not one owner or brewer in the breweries that I've been to this whole time I've been down here.
Not one.
Not a one.
You said that. It's like they don't even. It's like when the brewery's actually open to the public, they're not there.
I don't know if that's what they do. They just disappear because they don't want to deal with the public, which is actually in a lot of cases is quite common amongst brewery owners. In some cases, they just love the spotlight. We won't
Right.
mention names.
I don't know who you're talking about.
You notice I drank my beer after saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Let you fill that gap in. But it was, yeah, it was. I think the best beer conversation I had with this was this guy Tommy at the Slippery Otter in West Yellowstone. He used to be a beer manager at a ski resort. He at one point decided to visit every brewery in Montana. Gave up halfway through, and it's not because there was that many breweries. It's Montana's fucking huge, man.
It's a little bit. It's a little on the big side. A little on the big side. So.
He said he was getting a little tired of sleeping in his avail.
I would be too.
I can't imagine
I would be too.
sleeping in an avail. But that was a pretty good conversation. And like I said, the one guy says in 33. Other than that, not a lot of great craft beer conversations to be had, which is weird. The one thing though I do want to mention about what I've seen at every craft brewery here, Mexican lagers.
Okay.
Every one of them, it's just like you see now in Jersey. There's either most Jersey breweries are doing the Italian lagers, right?
There's a lot of Italian lagers in Jersey right now.
A lot of Italian lagers, which I guess it's Jersey. That makes sense.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
So I was talking to somebody that we were
talking to me?
We were talking about the
You talking to me?
about, and he was
He's been ignoring me.
Yeah, I'm ignoring you because that's not actually that's Taxi Driver.
But it's still Italian. It's still Robert De Niro.
It's De Niro, but was his character supposed to be Italian? What's the character's name?
Well, no, but it's Robert De Niro.
It's still De Niro.
You
talking to me? You know what the script said for that? You know what the script said for that scene?
Are you talking to me?
Nope.
Well,
I can't remember the character's name now, but it says talks to himself in mirror. That's it. Every word in that dialogue was invented by De Niro.
There you go.
The whole thing was ad-libbed. And that they were smart enough to realize, just let De Niro be De Niro.
Yeah, am I funny? Am I funny to you? Funny how? Funny like a clown? I amuse you?
Now we're going to Pesci. We're going to Mr. Fish.
Yeah. Joe Fish
was talking to some guy who was there's a bunch of people. Where the hell was this? We were talking about Jersey, and he had worked in Jersey, and we were talking about how getting contracts in Jersey. Okay. Usually there was only ever one bidder.
Okay.
I said, yeah, because if you bid against the person who was going to get the contract no matter what, you could wind up in a mafia block. And the funny thing is, before I even said that, he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, there's these things called mafia blocks. I'm like, yeah, okay, he knows.
Nice.
He goes, and a lot of people think, people talk about what you call Sopranos. I'm like, that's really, it's just an exaggeration. And not a huge exaggeration at that, except for the fact that not everybody in Jersey's in the mafia.
No.
Or admits it. So. Anyway, I'm not.
You're not?
No. Most members of the NJABC might be, where they act, pandering to the restaurant lobby. Or they just don't want to wind up in mafia blocks. I don't know.
This is true.
It could be an incentive. That's an understandable incentive.
It's an understandable incentive. Absolutely. I agree.
In other words, so anyway, the beer I'm drinking, they're coming in hop. Again, getting a lot of pine out of this one. And this one's got a creamy mouthfeel. It's almost, you know what it's reminiscent of?
What's that?
Double Cage and Cork Double Simcoe.
Cage and Cork Double Simcoe.
Remember that?
No, I remember Cage and Cork Double Simcoe. Of course, I think the brewer is Weyerbacher, but
yes, but that's what this is reminiscent of. Yeah, Cage and Cork's not the brewery. Weyerbacher's Double Simcoe Cage and Cork bottle conditioned edition, which they don't make anymore.
Right.
They even make Double Simcoe anymore?
No, Double Simcoe's not. That's a shame too.
Such a great beer. And then when they put that in the bottle conditioned, and this is reminiscent of that because it's got that creaminess to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is bottle conditioned or not, but it's got that mouthfeel of a bottle conditioned IPA. It's triple dry hopped, by the way.
Triple dry hopped.
Triple.
So
Says it right here.
They dry hopped it not once, not twice, but thrice.
But thrice. So in other words, they dry hopped it, then they dry hopped it again, and they dry hopped it yet again. In an effort to make beer not war, we decided to drop some hop bombs. Look out, we're coming in hop. Cute.
Coming in hop.
This refreshing, well-balanced, wheat-based IPA is crisp and full of amazing citrus and pine hop flavor aroma. Oh, there's a slash between flavor and aroma. Sit back and enjoy this beer while we complete our mission of spreading hop love.
Nice.
Interesting. This is actually really, really good. And it's only 5%. Damn, really? This is a really good beer.
Nice.
I like this one a lot. This is this may or may not be my favorite beer since I've been out here. We may have to, when we do our top threes, I may have to do top 3 beers I've had since I've been out here.
Since you've been out there, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, the ones out here. So speaking of, since I think we're running out of steam here, we should probably get to our top threes.
I think we should.
Wrap this up, and then because Matthew is up from his nap, and get out, and so he wants to get back out there, probably do some more geocaching. We've only found 64 since we've been here.
That's it?
Yeah, only 64. So, at any rate, so our top threes. And and it's funny that it's I think it's fitting I'm wearing this shirt. Because what do you want to take a guess as where the name Citizen 33 came from?
I wouldn't have a guess.
No, probably the year 1933 when Prohibition was repealed. The same reason we use top threes as we use 3 as the top in lieu of a top 10 list.
Well, thank you for letting everybody know what I was busting your chops about.
Yeah,
exactly. Citizen 33. I love it. It's great. Great name.
Yeah, and it's a great place. So if you're coming out into that area, get the Driggs. Get to Citizen 33. As Wildlife Brewing is there too. We didn't stop.
It's in Idaho, right?
Driggs, Idaho.
Driggs, Idaho. Gotcha.
Get the French fries. The potatoes are fresh.
There you go. All right. So tonight's top 3 list? We're gonna do right now is top 3 favorite beers we've had so far this summer. Now, look, Dave, if your top 3 beers that you've had so far this summer, we won't call it just like the last 3.5-4 weeks. All right, we'll call it from Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the unofficial, especially in Jersey, the kickoff of summer, right? So we'll call it from Memorial Day. So since May 30th ish, that weekend, kind of thing, 28th, 29th. Since then, roughly. What are the top 3 beers that you've had since then? Now, if all 3 of them are beers that you've had on this trip out there, by all means.
No, because there's one beer I had that when I told you I was having it, you friggin' drooled.
Oh yeah.
And it was after Memorial Day, but it wasn't technically summer, so
but
it was going to be an honorable mention because it was in that. You can use it that range
in Jersey. And look, summer is June 21st through September 23rd. So
something like that.
In Jersey, and you can't, let's not count, local summer down here for, us down here. Summer in Jersey is Memorial Day to Labor Day, right? So that's summer.
Right. It's the time where, unless you live at the shore, if you're a resident of Jersey, you stay away from the shore.
Right. Exactly. And we kind of plan our day trips on the weekends anyway, away from the shore,
and away from the traffic.
And it makes things a little bit easier for us because we don't have to deal with it, and it also opens up a parking spot for somebody else that's coming down. So we're thoughtful, if nothing else. So
you're very nice that way.
I try. So All right. So, what are your top 3 favorite beers you've had so far this summer, Dave?
I've got like this list here. Some of them are
Mhm.
crossed off because they weren't in summer, but um, because we, as you know, Carrie and I did a Warren County beer tour, but that
Right.
was actually before Memorial Day. I think it was the weekend before Memorial Day, so that's outside. So we're going to discount that. Um, but we're going to go with one I was talking about. This was at a Belgian restaurant, not too far from Times Square.
Mhm.
BXL, I think it's called.
The
BXL.
XL. Loud and
BXL.
clear.
And they managed to have St. Bernardus ABT 12 on tap.
Okay.
Oh, that was a glorious, 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 glorious thing. But I kind of want to go into some of the newer beers I've had this summer.
That was an
Um,
honorable mention.
so I'm going to give it an honorable mention. What it might be the greatest beer I've had within this time in that time frame, but I'm going to disqualify because it's not really a summery beer per se. Um, and it's something I've had before. So I'm going to go with a few beers that I've not had before. One will make it from this trip.
Okay.
Another one that's kind of an honorable mention is like St. Bernard's ABD12. It's one of those things that if you can find it on tap, order the damn thing and drink it. That's Aventinus Eisbach.
hmm
That was so Carrie and I did a tour of all 5 breweries, all 5 boroughs, a brewery in all 5 boroughs. But one of the places we stopped was Torse, so they had that on tap. You have to order that. So anyway, let's go to this is going to be this is actually going to be 4 on this list because one's going to be an A and B because there's some from the same brewery, and it's that would be this upstart brewery, Gypsy Brewers out of New Jersey called Coastal Brewworks. And I am really not blowing smoke up my co-host's ass here, um, or one of our producers' ass, because I've really got to say, Awkward Tan Lines and Building Sandcastles are 2 of the best beers I've had this summer.
Thank you very much.
That, and that's and if any of if you guys have been watching long enough, or John and I well enough, if his beer was ass, I'd tell him this beer was ass.
My face. You wouldn't
Yeah,
pull any punches.
I'd do it on the podcast. Yeah, that beer was ass, John. No, but on the other hand, if a beer is fantastic, I'm going to give the boys their props. These 2 beers are absolutely fantastic. So these are in no order, by the way. So that's an A and B. The another one, and I really wish I was able to make that particular event. Carrie and I were off doing something else at the
hmm
time. I think we were in Florida, and that was Pilsner Fest down at Icarus.
hmm
But I did get a can of
I, I
proprietor.
I was there.
Yeah, John was there.
I was there.
And I may or may not have had the best one, but I had propriety pills. I kept
Propriety
wanting to say
pills.
proprietary pills, but it's propriety pills.
Propriety pills. Yeah.
Propriety
Very good
pills.
beer.
That is a collab with who was that a collab with?
The Conclave.
Conclave, yes. Conclave makes great beer. We hit Conclave on that Warren County tour. Propriety pills, fantastic beer. Absolutely fantastic beer. So that was another great one I had this summer. And the one from out here surprised the hell out of me. I couldn't check it in where we drank it because there was no service there because this was in Yellowstone. And we stopped at one of the general stores, and this was up in the Tower. They call it the Tower District, which is as close as we got to where the floods were. So it's way up north, just north of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, which was actually very cool.
Yes.
But we stopped there. We got a few things. Um, this is after Matthew with his eagle's eyes had spotted a marmot down in this kind of ravine. It's really cool. Anyway, so I picked up a beer, and it was a Kettle House's Cold Smoke. Now, Cold Smoke, this is not a smoke beer. It's a reference to the smoke that comes, what looks like a smoke coming off a mountain when the wind is blowing the snow off of it. That's Cold Smoke. I think. Well, that might be different. That might
No,
be
I
no, Cold
believe
Smoke is
you're.
different. Yeah, I don't know. I have to look that one up.
I believe you're right. I've heard that before. I believe
I
you're
think
right.
that's what it is. So Cold Smoke, it's not smoked. What it was a Scotch ale.
Nice.
This was probably one of the easiest drinking damn Scotch ales I've ever had in my life. It was so good. It had all that balanced malt to it, with a balance from the yeast. Oh, it's a beautiful beer. So this counts as summer, so I'm going to go with that one, and with a nod to Citizen 33's beer. I had sent John a message that their Vienna Lager probably rivaled Awkward Tan Lines.
Yep.
And they had
You did message me that you did.
Oh, and Citizen 33, they specialize in saisons.
Is that right?
Well, they're the guy's from Louisiana, so he
Fair
loved
enough.
French yeast.
Makes sense.
And the beer that I had there, and I couldn't believe that I'm sitting in Idaho drinking a beer de garde, and a damn well done beer de garde at that. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So
very nice.
And
nice.
Frankly, I did my my top 3 favorites here, right there. The Vienna Lager, that beer de garde, and the Kettle House.
And the Kettle House. There you go.
Those were the 3 best beers I've had since I've out. But now I've got to throw in this coming in hop. This is like a piney, resiny, but still creamy.
You know what? I really got to get my hands soon on something like that. It's been too long. Look, we've had bitter beers lately but with all the New Englands out there, and including our own, right? I mean,
right?
they're so good. A lot of them, not just ours. I mean, a lot of them are out there. And even there's bitterness in this. There's a good amount of bitterness in this beer. But look how hazy it is, right?
Yeah, it's creamy.
It's creamy. It's a creamy beer. It's cheddar broccoli, right? Of course, it's creamy, right? So,
well, they don't put out a lot of bitter beers,
right? But the bottom line is, just something really, really West Coast, something really, really piney, really resiny, something. Just take me back 10 years. I need, and I don't mean that globally. I don't mean I don't want this anymore. I just mean I want like 1 or 2 beers soon to remind me what the style is like. That style is like.
I'm trying to figure out. There's one beer that I had out here. Here it is. So Jim Dandy, I had one that was called Jimmy Drinks IPA.
Okay.
Jim Dandy apparently was like a famous hobo or something. And that's where we.
Oh, it's all over the place. I mean, there was in northern Jersey. There was an ice cream chain. It was probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 locations of Jim Dandy's ice cream. They actually bought out a lot of closed up Dairy Queens.
Oh, really?
And then became Jim Dandy's or whatever. And then, of course, the song "Jim Dandy to the Rescue" too. But
So, but the way I checked this in was that pine and citrus and bitterness. And then I quipped somewhere, some NEIPA drinker is making a face claiming it's too bitter.
Right.
This was a West Coast IPA. This was not even a West Coast. It was a classic IPA. This was before there was a term West Coast IPA. This is a throwback to the pine and the citrus.
Not even an English IPA, just a classic American IPA. No West Coast, no English, no nothing. Just American IPA.
Yeah. And it was a pleasure to drink.
Bitter beer, a bitter pale ale.
And these 2 IPAs, these 2 bombers that I've crushed the hell out of. Mm-hmm. The first one's 6.8. This is 5. So still riding pretty damn steady on these. Nice. These things are bitter. I mean, these probably Dagda was. I would have to say that's probably sitting about 70 IBUs.
Nice.
This one's probably sitting at the creaminess. I think mitigates a little bit, so we might be looking at 65 IBUs on this one.
Fair enough.
That's where I'd put it. I have to look it up. I'm probably way off because I suck at numbers. But
that's just math. That's not beer drinking skills. So.
But no, these things have a nice bitterness. These are West Coast IPAs I'm drinking out of Talisman. They do make an NAIPA, but I didn't get that because I can get tons of those back home.
Sure.
To get a really well-crafted West Coast IPA in Jersey, you've got to look. You really, really got to look.
You do.
Especially since we don't get Green Flash anymore.
Yeah. You got to look. You can find them, but you got to look. All right. Yeah. Ready for mine?
Ready for yours.
All right. Here we go. I'll give you one honorable mention. And it's something that I had one of, and I did have one before summer. So, let's call it what it is. I did have one back in like April or whatever, but I did have a second one. I had one at the brewery, one in a can early in the you know,
You got one in the can. Nice.
I got one in the can, man. But I did have one after Memorial Day, so I'm just gonna get, because I had it before Memorial Day as well as after Memorial Day. I'm just gonna give it an honorable mention, and that would be EMD, and that's an English dark mild from Tonewood.
Okay, I don't know if you can read this
Mm-hmm.
because it's crossed out. It's right there because this happened just before Memorial Day,
There you
so I
go.
had to cross it out.
Cross it out.
EMD is a beautiful
But I
beer.
did have one can of it after Memorial Day. That's why it made my honorable mention list. So there you go.
Can we get a ruling?
Rolling,
We're-
Jimmy.
Yes.
Jim-
Hold on. They're going to the instant replay.
Okay.
It's Oh, okay. They're allowing it. They're allowing it.
They're allowing
Okay.
it. All right, good. All right, there you go. It's my honorable mention. All right, here we go. So my three you know what? This isn't really, honestly, and I'll do 3, 2, 1 in that order. But like Dave, any of these are whatever. It's just the top three in no order. Here we go. All Through Time.
All Through Time.
All Through Time. It's an alt beer from the Seed.
Oh, well, yeah. Because, you finally hit the Seed just before AC Beer Fest.
Yep.
His first time at the Seed. And if you go to AC, just hit that place. There's no excuse not to. And if you want, drink a whole lot, then go next door and throw some axes.
Exactly. And then after you throw some axes, you can go into
to the distillery.
water distillery and have a couple
and then go
cocktails.
back and throw more axes.
Throw more axes and then have more beer. Just stay there for a while. It's fun. There you go. Anyway,
stay until you split someone's skull open at the axe place.
It may be yours, but
could be yours.
Anyway, so All Through Time.
You're aiming and you're holding the axe the wrong way.
Boom, right. Kate, can somebody help me with this?
Medic.
All right. So anyway, All Through Time. It's an alt beer from the Seed. Great beer. Alt beer, it's one of my favorite all-time styles as an alt beer, especially stick alt. I mean, you've heard the story. Those of you listening all the time, you've heard the story about the Urige last August.
We're not going to go back into this. We're not getting back into this. This is wounds for me. Stop.
I know. So okay, one of my favorite styles. Probably my second favorite German style of beer. All right.
First favorite style?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Foreshadowing. There you go. So
next one. We do a lot on the show, and then ruin it by saying we're foreshadowing.
Exactly. So
that's what we do.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, let's get on with it. Oh, that's the other show.
Anyway. That's the other show.
Anyway,
and that's what you're dressed for.
Exactly. Well, I figured I'd combine the two tonight. So anyway, number 2, just in the next one, I should say. Scotch Ale Barley Beer. No name. That's what it's called. That's what's on the label. Scotch Ale Barley Beer from Treehouse Brewing.
I love the fact that Treehouse has said, we know you all love us for the IPAs and our sticky ass stouts.
Mm-hmm.
We're now going to prove to you that we can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it, and they're doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I admire the hell out of them that they had a business model that just raked in so much damn cash for them. They're like, we've got all this money now. We need to now make other stuff. Yeah. Let's see what we can do. Let's prove to those beer nerds who aren't IPA fanatics and the pastry stout fanatics that we can do these beers.
And you're missing one thing, one key factor here too. Not only proving it to the beer nerds that they can make these other styles, but themselves. And they can drink the beers that they even want to drink. There you go.
Because it's been said many times by many brewers and brewery owners on this show, the beers they want to drink are the Pilsners and the lagers. Mm-hmm. And everyone's heard me say this. This is probably about the 15th time I've said it in the show. I just forgot his name. Oh my God. Sean Lapolito.
Sure.
Said anybody can brew an IPA. Mm-hmm. You want to impress me? Brew me a Pilsner. Mm-hmm. You want to show that you know what you're doing? Brew me a Pilsner. An IPA, you can cover up every flaw with the hops. Mm-hmm. But you can't cover up a flaw in a Pilsner.
True story. Right.
So,
And to top it off, the next one, the third one, if you will, number 1, number 3, it doesn't matter. They're all number 1s in my book.
one C, 1B, 1A, whatever.
There you go. Tmave Lazak.
You love. You got me at you had me at Tmave.
It's a short beer. It's a dark lager. It's a dark lager. So it's a Czech dark lager.
Mm-hmm. The Tmave gives that away.
Tmave gives it away. It's a Czech dark lager, but
Pivo is Tmave's dark, but it's the Czech word for dark.
It's the Czech word for dark,
but it's not Tmave Pivo. So what's the difference?
It's it's the name that they gave it. It's not what it is.
Gotcha.
It's a dark lager. They called it a dark lager. That's what they called it. They didn't even call it a Czech dark lager. They just called it a dark lager. So if you want to say it's a Czech dark lager, if you want to say it's a German Schwarzbier, have at it, because it's the same thing. They just named the beer. They named the beer.
The Czech word, right?
Sure. They named the beer Tmave Lazak, and it's from that Lagerfest at Icarus. Nice. And it was a collab with Hackensack.
Very nice. Yeah. I love what Hackensack does. Yeah. It's good stuff.
So there you go. So Tmave Lazak, Schwarzbier, dark lager, Czech dark lager, whatever you want to call it, from Icarus and Hackensack at Icarus's Lagerfest. So there you go. So I just want to point out that my top 3 beers that I've had so far, top 3 favorite beers that I've had so far this summer, are an alt beer, Scotch ale, and a dark lager.
None of them.
And my honorable mention is an English dark mild.
Not traditional. Not traditional summer ales.
Big summer ales, right?
Mine were a Scotch ale. I did have a Pilsner and did have a Vienna lager.
You did.
So, but also had
a IPA and another Vienna lager.
No, but I also had a Belgian triple on there.
Belgian triple, no, Belgian quad, and
Belgian quad, and a German Eisbach.
And a German Eisbach. So we covered
quite a lot.
We covered quite a lot.
We had no stouts in there.
Summer's only about a quarter over. So we got a lot more. We got a lot more dark German English style beers and Belgian beers to drink this summer. So just wait till we get to fall. Forget about winter.
We had no porters or stouts on the list though.
No, they're coming.
They're coming.
Now
we already have Oktoberfest beers out. Thank you, founders.
I know. I was going to bus chops and say my top 3 beers were Building Sandcastles, Trojan Seahorse, and Awkward Tan Lines.
Which are all 3, because you have to appease the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
We did have product placement. You had the glass. There's our product placement. Thank you.
So, but that goes without saying. Clearly, I'm going to love those beers. And to be quite honest with you, the beers that I've drank the most so far this summer are all 3 of those.
Yeah, of course. Why not? You got pretty easy access to that.
I have a little access to those 3 beers, but in any event,
and you don't have to whip out your credit card. It's almost like an automatic. Good job, Gene. Good job.
There you go. Oh, what did he say? Let's get the comment up there. Hold on. There we go. Oh, hold on. There we go.
You find it?
Shameless. There we go. Shameless.
Hashtag shameless. Thank you.
Hashtag shameless. There you go. Shameless plug. But
it would be a shameless plug if I was not the one who started the Coastal Brew Works love. And Gene's one of those who knows me well enough to know that I'm not going to call beer fantastic if I don't think the beer is fantastic.
This is true.
If I don't like the beer, I'm going to tell you I don't like the beer.
There you go. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And Gene, you didn't jump on to see the podcast when I did thank you indeed for giving me this beer that I'm drinking right now, this other half cheddar broccoli. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, James has turned Gene into an OH whore.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, James.
Good job, James. Good job, Gene. There you go. He goes, LOL, sorry, I couldn't resist. There you go. All right. Thank you, Gene.
Well, that is Gene. That is Gene.
And he said, thank you. Awesome. Enjoy. Perfect. Thank you, Gene. Seriously. So, and hold on. And I hope you enjoyed the beer that I gave you when you gave me this beer. What would they be? What would they be, Gene?
Awkward Tan Lines, I'm assuming.
I don't know. Let's see if he remembers. Let's see. It was actually before Awkward Tan Lights was just before Awkward Tan Lights was released. So might be something else.
Might have been something else.
Might have been something else.
Might have been.
Anyway.
Well, I can narrow it down to 2 options.
Might be both. It could have been both. Could have been both. Could have been both. All right. Anyway. All right. So anyway, you've had a great trip. You've drank a lot of good beer out there. You've had a great experience. Awesome vacation for a week and 9 days, basically, I guess.
Yeah, about 9 days.
8 or 9 days with your
on
son
one hand,
graduation.
On one hand, I'm hitting the end of vacation depression.
Right.
Because there's that whole thing is like, can I just find a job out here and stay out here?
I'm pretty sure you're going somewhere in a few weeks that might make up.
Yeah. Yeah. Asheville might make up for this, for having. But then again, do want to come home, because pizza and bagels, for one main thing. It's also, well, I'll admit, right, miscarry, so got to get there. Got to get back for that. But get back to Jersey, born, bred there. So what happens to someone from Jersey when they've been out of Jersey too long? The Jersey starts to either intensify or drain, one of the two. It either goes one way or the other.
Right. I hear you.
So
intensify. We'll go and intensify. We'll go and intensify.
Yeah, so we're got to get back in level. Yeah, because I yelled at someone in traffic today, so it was starting to intensify, I think.
Right,
last night, because there was someone behind me with their high beams on in the pouring rain.
There you go.
So of course you do what anybody from Jersey does. You slow down, let them pass you, get behind them, and throw your high beams on.
Absolutely.
And follow them for 15 miles that way.
Exactly. And if they pull over, you pull over behind
and
them.
Go. And you pull behind them, and if they get out of the car, you get out of your car, and you just let them go. What?
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 What? That's it.
And that's it. That's all you got to say.
Nothing other beyond that needed. So, anyway,
I'll say one thing. Speaking of cars, I hate the rental I have. Okay, so Honda, your HRV sucks. This is one of the worst vehicles ever built for anybody that's over like 5'7", because there's no way to get comfortable in that driver's seat. You can't get your elbows on any of the friggin' armrests. So you're driving like this the whole time, so your arms get tired, or you've got your arms on your lap and you're just holding the bottom of the steering wheel. This thing can't get out of its own damn way. It's 0 to 60 in a couple of days.
Okay.
So, so at the risk of Honda really coming down hard on this, because there's so many execs from Honda that are probably listening to this show.
They all do.
They all do. So Honda, if you're listening, do something about this car.
Fix it.
God. Oh, and the intermittent wipers. Intermittent. They don't understand the term intermittent. There's high speed, there's low speed, and there's intermittent. You can't change the speed of the intermittent. So basically you have low, mid, and high. That's all you have.
So intermittent is low in their book.
Yeah. There's no way to adjust the speed of the intermittent wipers.
Okay.
Any rate. Well, and there's no automatic lights. So many times the car's been yelling at me because I'm walking away with the lights still on. What car nowadays does not have auto?
Every car should have auto. I think every car does have auto.
No, not this piece of crap.
Not this one. No.
Not this piece of crap that they made.
Well, did you go by Wendy? All right, is she your friend? Did she let you in?
Wendy? No, she didn't. And Mary didn't get in the car when I asked her to either.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's those ghosts.
I know.
Of all those boys that she sent away.
I know.
He is coming to Jersey, by the way.
Yes. We should go together.
You only want to go together because I've got a.
Well, no, I want to go see him, but there's that too.
I got a guy.
Who's your guy? Oh, wait, him. I forgot.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't have his number. I've got the manager's number, so.
There you go. So, well,
I just gained like 50 more friends.
we'll work that out. Tell him I'll bring him a case of each of the beers. There we go. So,
We'll figure it out.
The Lager Room guys will sponsor with beer the attendance at the show. So, anyway.
Wow, that would be interesting if we could do a Lager Room guys sponsor of the Springsteen. Did you see that? Did you just see that? The fly just. I feel like Mike Pence. The I was like, and I'm watching this thing going, there's no way he's just hit me in the forehead.
Yeah.
and the fly's walking away going, what the fuck did I just do?
What did I just do? You just did that.
I think the fly's been drinking more than I have.
It might have actually. You know what? It probably was sitting on the paper towels that wiped up all the beer.
Yeah, more than likely.
Spilled before, so that's why I did.
So if you're listening to the auto podcast, you just did not see a fly bounce off my forehead.
Tune in if you don't want to watch the whole hour and 26 minutes that we originally thought we were going to do.
Yeah, tune in 125.
125. There you go. You'll see
it.
There you go.
Anyway, all right. Well, let me see if Matthew's done with his nappy nap.
Yeah, you got it's 7:00 out there. You guys will leave it tomorrow. Go do some stuff tonight. We'll end the podcast on this note for that.
Yeah,
we'll wrap up the show.
I can wake him up by pulling the binky out of his mouth.
There you go. You do that. We'll wrap the show for today on that note. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time.
I gotta pee, go faster.
I know. So, and for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. If you haven't done...
What? Matthew on Spotify, he was going to like the show. It replied to him, you should probably listen to an episode before you like the show.
There you go. Should do that.
Good for Spotify.
Exactly. And I like that. That's good. That's good. And if you haven't, they know us. Spotify knows us. They know.
You like to think they would do that for every podcast.
Nope, just
but
us.
I wouldn't blame them just for us.
And for those of you who haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss the show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care.
Yeah, we'll see you in about a week.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.